We were talking also about landing at Iwo Jima and having to spend 3 days
Yeah.
on the beach, and that was, as you said, your first real experience with battle.
Yeah.
And what was going through your mind?
Well, I figured, you see some of the fellas got hit, and I don't know how they missed me and the bodyguard, but we were one of the more fortunate ones, I guess. But to give you an idea, it was 3 days before we were able to move a little bit. But it wasn't until they secured that Mount Suribachi with that flag, that we were actually able to move, even a few hundred feet. But even then, that was tough because all the Japanese soldiers were in these bunkers, these thick 3-foot bunkers, firing on us. And once in a while, a few would come out, but most of the time, we were being fired from inside of these bunkers. And it was really tough going. But I can't imagine that they had 20-some thousand Japanese defenders on the island. And years later, I found out that there were young farm boys on that island, and girls and women that came to help and plant some food on the island. I don't know how that anything can grow on that island because it's volcanic ash. But they were caught before they could return, and they all died there. And that's another sad part of the story. But I found this out from the Japanese tape called Return to Iwo Jima. And it tells of how 20-some young people, youth, died on the island.
You had mentioned a little earlier that all of the soldiers, the Japanese soldiers, had dug tunnels and they were hiding in the bunkers.
Yeah, it's a beehive tunnel, And they would come out once in a while to fight. And then other places they had caves. And they somehow, those that were in the tunnel, we found out later they had cremated them in one area, and also in these caves too. They had where some of them died. Well, they died just that way, But it's something you'll never forget. You don't want to see, because you feel so sad. But in those that they died, we just blew up the cave and closed it up.
When you first learned that there were going to be setting of explosives in the caves and that's how the cave flushings were going to take place, what were you thinking?
I don't think I had any emotional, because I thought, well, this is going to be their grave, because at the time, the heat of battle, you cannot take care. We found a lot of, it was, before that, the Suribachi secured, even as American Marines, we couldn't remove their bodies. And finally, after that was secured, they started to remove the bodies and make room for a burial, But until then, there was nothing we could do.